Hi everyone, I'm Michael Green from Michael Green Architecture. We also call ourselves MGA. And I'm here with Design Milk for milkshakes today. My firm MGA is located in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and we are about 50 people. And I share running the firm with my partner Natalie Telviak. And together we're building buildings all over the world of all different types, but exclusively in timber, which is our passion. And it's our passion because we deeply believe that buildings should be built in the lowest carbon way possible to address climate change. Today what I'm going to be doing is answering a bunch of questions that are here in this bowl, randomly assorted, so let's go. Here we go. Question number one. You've talked about the duty of my profession to do more in terms of the environment and societal sustainability. What does that mean to you now? So what that's about for me is that we as designers are responsible for a whole lot of things. We're responsible to our client, we're responsible to our community, and we're responsible really to the planet as a whole. I think together as a design profession, we need to harness our voices and be heard much more together about how we can have an impact and how we can lead our way through the big issues of our time, the issues of climate change, the issues of affordability and accessibility to free housing, to affordable housing. So it's really important that we find a way to bring our voices together, and that's a duty and responsibility that each and every one of us should carry beyond the day-to-day efforts of our own jobs. All right, next question. What right now is a planet-wide design problem that you find fascinating but also fixable, and how would you try to fix it? So, so this relates to some other questions I might get, that for us in our practice at MGA, we're focused on two primary issues. How do we address climate change? How do we address affordability? How do we look at solutions that will actually dramatically make a difference in that? And when I say dramatically, I mean we have to break down the entire bizarre system of building buildings that we currently have, where we've got people that design and people that make and less harmony between them, and actually mush everybody back together and find greater efficiencies in our process of making a building to make it faster and less expensive, but also to make buildings in factories and in environments where we engineer out waste, where we engineer out inefficiency, and we can still bring beauty and uniqueness, but we can dramatically lower the cost of buildings and really serve mankind in a much better way. Next question. Is the city of the future made of wood rather than steel and concrete? So here at MGA, we exclusively work in timber. We believe in it because it's the lowest carbon material that we can build with. We believe that we should all be working in timber, but also organic materials. Steel and concrete are great materials, but they're very high carbon materials, very intensive. We need to use less of them. We need to up our organic material in the way we build, because organic material sequesters carbon and reduces our carbon footprint. To do that, I think the future of cities is going to be not just about wood, but unique innovations that come around unique organic materials, where we as designers stop shopping in catalogs for the materials we use and actually go back into the laboratory and start inventing the materials we use. If we can do that, we can change the future of the city. Next question. Okay, what is your favorite place in the natural world? So I've had the good fortune of traveling a lot and mostly around climbing and outdoor things like kayaking, and that are a big part of my life beyond architecture. In that process, I had the great fortune of, with my son when he was very young, kayaking all 7 continents of the world and ending up in Antarctica, which is my favorite place that I ever visited. Antarctica is both beautiful and also the magnifying glass on the issue of climate change for us all to consider. So for me, the impact of taking my 10-year-old son there for a month kayaking was about showing him a world that is changing quickly, a world that we are responsible as designers in addressing and trying to heal and help. Next question. Is there one building you've designed over the years that you might regard as emblematic of your legacy? So I get that question a lot. Buildings are like children. No one is a favorite. They're all favorites, and yet there is one favorite. I worked with my partner, Natalie Televiak, on a project here in Vancouver for Ronald McDonald House, which is a project that serves 73 families whose children have cancer when they have to go to the children's hospital. It was a hugely impactful project because it allowed us to really intimately understand the challenge these families were going through and really find solutions that might help and heal or support. It's the perfect process and project for us to be able to do our best to be helpful to mankind in a very sensitive way, and that meant a lot to us. Next question. Storytelling is part of your job as an architect, but how does architecture inform your children's book writing? So I've written a lot of children's books. I started when my kids were little, writing for them, writing for some past partners, and writing on occasion about buildings. I think rather than architecture informing my children's books, I think my children's books actually inform the architecture process that I like. And that's because I write children's books for my kids when they're 3, when they're 13, when they're 33, when they're 83. I write them with an idea and a concept that's simple, that I know will be impactful for them throughout their lives. Building buildings is the same idea. We want a deep story that connects with people when we build the building at first, but a story that still matters generations from now. Legacy is a hugely important part of building, and considering what the future might hold for the people that use buildings and the community, how they might feel about it, is deeply rooted in our design process here at MGA. Okay, last question, or next question. Okay, next question. You once said, I don't think there's any point in your career when you should stop making things. What are you making right now, especially on a small and personal scale? So early in my career, I was a carpenter as well as studying architecture. I loved it. I loved working with materials with my own hands. I started doing a lot of millwork and furniture building and welding and a whole bunch of different ways of actually bringing the craft of the design idea into reality. Currently, I'm really lucky. I'm having a lot of fun designing on a little island called Salt Spring Island. I'm designing a raft and building it. So the raft is not a conventional raft. It's something sitting in the ocean in a beautiful little cove, and we're trying to make it both a place you can swim to or tie a boat to, but also have natural seagrasses on and a tree on, and build it in a way that even in this rough marine environment, it'll last for generations. And I think it's both a beautiful creative pursuit and in this beautiful place that I've fallen in love with. Okay, so with that, those are my answers. I really appreciate being on Design Milkshakes, and hope you all enjoyed this as well. And get out there and build with organics and wood. Cheers.